The black SUV pulled up by the roadside in broad daylight, and before anyone nearby could understand what was happening, the front passenger door flew open. "Get down," the man behind the wheel said, his voice flat and sharp. The woman beside him stared at his face. Her hand moved slowly to her stomach, round and clear beneath her loose dress. People could see she was pregnant. Very pregnant. "Victor, what did you say?" she asked. "I said get down," he repeated. "I have somewhere important to go." In the back seat, his mother leaned forward and clapped her hands once, smiling. "Quickly," she said. "We are already late." The woman's lips trembled. Cars passed. A few pedestrians slowed. Someone whispered, "Is that his wife?" Victor reached across and pushed the door wider. "I need to pick up Lorna," he added. "I won't keep her waiting." That was the moment. That was when Victor Adekunle kicked his pregnant wife out of the car to go and pick up his rude side chick, while his own mother sat there cheering him on. The door slammed shut. The SUV drove off. And Mercy Adekunle stood there alone, one hand on her stomach, eyes fixed on the road, as something inside her quietly changed. What she did next would shake everyone who thought they knew her. 2 weeks earlier, Mercy would never have believed this could happen. She used to sit in the same car, her head resting lightly against the window, watching Lagos move past in soft lines. Victor would hum to music. Sometimes his mother, Mrs. Adekunle, would complain about traffic. It all felt normal then. Mercy met Victor 5 years ago at a family friend's engagement party in Ikeja. He wore a neat blue suit and spoke gently. He told her he worked in real estate. He laughed easily. He listened when she talked. When he asked for her number, her heart beat fast. When he came to her parents with gifts and respect, everyone smiled. "You are lucky," her aunt told her. "This man is calm." The first year of marriage was quiet and sweet. Victor liked order. Mercy liked peace. They fit well, or so she thought. But when Mercy became pregnant, small things began to change. Victor started coming home late. He stopped asking how she felt. His phone never left his hand. When Mercy asked simple questions, his face would harden. "Don't start," he would say. Mrs. Adekunle, who moved into their home to help, watched everything Mercy did. She corrected how Mercy cooked. She corrected how she walked. She corrected how she spoke. "This pregnancy has made you lazy," she would say. Mercy stayed quiet. She believed patience could fix things. Then Lorna appeared. At first, Lorna was just a name Victor mentioned once while answering a call. "I'm driving," he said. "I'll see you." Later, Mercy heard the name again. Lorna this. Lorna that. One afternoon, Mercy saw a message flash on Victor's phone while he was in the bathroom. "Why are you taking so long? I hate waiting." Mercy's heart slowed. Not fast. Slow. Like it was thinking. That evening, she asked carefully, "Who is Lorna?" Victor did not even look at her. "Someone I work with." The answer felt thin, like paper. Days passed. Then came the morning Victor said, "We are going out." Mercy was happy. She dressed slowly. She felt tired but hopeful. Mrs. Adekunle insisted on joining them. They drove in silence. Halfway through the journey, Victor's phone rang. He answered quickly. "Yes," he said. "I'm on my way." He glanced at Mercy, then at his mother. Mrs. Adekunle nodded. "Do what you need to do." Victor sighed and pulled the car to the side. "I need to pick up someone," he said. "Who?" Mercy asked. "Lorna." The name landed like a stone. "But I'm tired," Mercy said. "We were going out." Victor turned to her, anger sharp in his eyes. "You can't be tired forever." Mrs. Adekunle laughed softly. "You pregnant women like drama." Mercy felt heat rise to her face. "Please," she said. "Let's just." "Get down," Victor cut in. The rest followed fast. Too fast. And now Mercy stood alone. A woman selling fruit nearby shook her head. A man paused, then looked away. Mercy did not cry. She took one deep breath. Then another. She looked down at her hands. They were steady. She touched her stomach and spoke softly. "We are still here." She walked slowly to a nearby bench and sat down. Her legs felt weak, but her mind felt clear. For the first time in months, no one was shouting at her. No one was correcting her. No one was telling her to be quiet. She took out her phone. Victor's number was there. So was Mrs. Adekunle's. She did not call them. Instead, she opened a message she had ignored for weeks. "Mercy, how are you? It's Uncle Samuel. Let me know if you need anything." Uncle Samuel was Victor's uncle. He lived in Ibadan. He was kind. He listened. Mercy stared at the screen. Her thumb hovered. Around her, life continued. Cars moved. People talked. A bus conductor shouted destinations. Mercy typed slowly. "Uncle Samuel, please. I need to see you today." She pressed send. Across town, Victor's SUV slowed in front of a tall building. A woman with long hair and sharp eyes stood waiting, arms crossed. "Lorna." Victor smiled as he stepped out. Behind him, Mrs. Adekunle nodded with pride. None of them knew that Mercy was already taking her first quiet step towards something they would never expect. And as Mercy stood up from the bench, phone in hand, her face calm but firm, one question hung in the air. When Victor realizes what his pregnant wife is about to do next, will it already be too late? Mercy did not rush. That surprised her the most. She walked slowly to the bus stop, one careful step after another, as if her body already knew that panic would not help her now. People looked at her as she passed. Some with pity. Some with curiosity. One woman even asked, "My sister, are you okay?" Mercy nodded. Yes. Her voice sounded calm. Almost steady. She entered a bus going toward the main road. The bus was noisy, but Mercy sat quietly, her eyes fixed ahead. Her phone buzzed once in her hand. A message. It was from Victor. "Where are you?" Mercy stared at the words for a long time. She did not reply. Minutes later, another message came. "You should have waited. You embarrassed me." She read it twice. Then she locked her phone. At the other end of the city, Victor was already annoyed. Lorna sat beside him now, her legs crossed, tapping her nails on the car door. "So you just dropped her like that?" she asked with a small laugh. "Honestly, you men are funny." Victor forced a smile. "She will be fine." Mrs. Adekunle adjusted her scarf. "She needs to learn sense," she said. "A woman should know when to step aside." Lorna turned and looked at her with interest. "I like you, Mama," she said. "You understand things." Mrs. Adekunle smiled proudly. Victor felt a small tight feeling in his chest, but he pushed it away. Meanwhile, Mercy got down from the bus near a quiet street. She walked into a small cafe and sat near the window. The place was simple. Wooden chairs. Soft music. It felt safe. She unlocked her phone again. Uncle Samuel had replied. "Where are you now?" Mercy typed carefully. "I'm in Lagos. Something serious happened. Please, I need your help." A reply came almost immediately. "Stay where you are. I am already on my way." Mercy placed the phone on the table and folded her hands. She did not know what would happen next. But for the first time since she became pregnant, she felt like someone was coming to stand beside her. An hour later, a dark-colored car stopped in front of the cafe. A tall man stepped out. His hair was gray at the edges. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp. Uncle Samuel. When he saw Mercy through the glass, he paused. He opened the door slowly and walked in. Mercy stood up. "Uncle," she said softly. He looked at her stomach first. Then her face. Then he pulled out a chair. "Sit," he said gently. "Tell me everything." Mercy spoke. She spoke about the changes. The insults. The silence. The name Lorna. The car. The road. The door opening. The cheering. She did not cry. Uncle Samuel listened without interrupting. His jaw tightened. His fingers pressed against the table. When she finished, he was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Victor has gone too far." Mercy lowered her eyes. "I don't want trouble," she said. "I just want peace." Uncle Samuel nodded. "Peace does not mean silence," he replied. He took out his phone. Across town, Victor was laughing at something Lorna said when his phone rang. He checked the screen. Uncle Samuel calling. His smile faded. He hesitated. Then he answered. "Good afternoon, Uncle." "Where is your wife?" Uncle Samuel asked. Victor shifted in his seat. "She went home." There was a pause. Then Uncle Samuel said slowly, "Victor, you are lying." Victor felt cold spread through his hands. How did he know? He thought. Uncle Samuel continued, "I am with Mercy right now." The car went silent. Lorna stopped talking. Mrs. Adekunle leaned forward. What did he say? Victor did not answer her. "Bring your car," Uncle Samuel said. "Come and see me. Now." The line went dead. Victor stared at his phone. For the first time that day, fear showed on his face. And far away, Mercy watched Uncle Samuel stand up and say one sentence that made her heart stop for a moment. "Mercy," he said, "there are things about this marriage you do not know yet." What could be worse than what had already happened? And what secret was about to come out next? Mercy felt her throat dry when Uncle Samuel said those words. "There are things about this marriage you do not know yet." She looked up at him slowly. "What things?" she asked. Uncle Samuel did not answer at once. He walked to the cafe window and looked outside, as if arranging his thoughts carefully. "Before I speak," he said, turning back to her, "I want you to understand something. Whatever I say today is not to break you. It is to protect you and your child." Mercy nodded. "I'm listening." Uncle Samuel pulled out a chair and sat again. "Victor did not just change because of this pregnancy," he said. "He has been planning many things quietly." Mercy's fingers tightened around her bag. "Planning what?" Uncle Samuel lowered his voice. "To leave you." The words fell gently, but they hit hard. Mercy stayed still. "To leave me?" she repeated. "Yes," Uncle Samuel said. "Not today. Not tomorrow. But soon." Mercy shook her head slowly. "Then why did he marry me?" Uncle Samuel sighed. "Victor likes comfort. He likes people who build with him. But when he feels he has arrived, he looks elsewhere." Mercy thought of the long nights she stayed awake while Victor slept. The food she prepared. The silence she accepted. And Lorna? Mercy asked. Uncle Samuel's face grew serious. "Lorna is not new." Mercy's eyes widened. "They have known each other for more than a year," Uncle Samuel continued. "She was around even before you became pregnant." Mercy felt a quiet heaviness settle inside her. "So everyone knew?" she asked. "Not everyone," Uncle Samuel replied. "But your mother-in-law did." Mercy's breath caught. "She knew." Mercy whispered. Uncle Samuel nodded. "She encouraged it. She believes Victor deserves better. She believes you are too quiet, too soft." Mercy closed her eyes for a moment. That explained the smiles. The cheering. The way Mrs. Adekunle never defended her. Outside, a car horn sounded. Mercy opened her eyes again. "I trusted her," Mercy said softly. "I know," Uncle Samuel replied. "That is why I called you today." He stood up. "Victor is coming." Mercy's heart skipped. "Coming here?" "Yes," Uncle Samuel said. "And when he arrives, you will not speak much. Let me talk." Minutes passed. Mercy watched the door. Then it opened. Victor walked in first. Behind him was Mrs. Adekunle. Lorna was not with them. Victor's eyes landed on Mercy. For a second, something crossed his face. Guilt. Then it disappeared. "Mercy," he said. "Why are you here?" Uncle Samuel stood. "Sit down, Victor." Victor hesitated, then obeyed. Mrs. Adekunle did not sit. She crossed her arms. "Is this how you call elders outside?" she asked Mercy. Creating drama? Mercy said nothing. Uncle Samuel turned to her. Madam, he said calmly, please sit. Mrs. Adekunle frowned but sat. Uncle Samuel faced Victor. Why did you drop your pregnant wife by the road today? Victor shifted. It was not like that, he said. She was being difficult. Mercy's eyes lifted, but she stayed silent. Difficult how? Uncle Samuel asked. Victor paused. She complains too much. Uncle Samuel nodded slowly. And that is why you removed her from your car? Victor looked away. Mrs. Adekunle jumped in. Pregnancy is not sickness, she said. Women have done worse. Uncle Samuel raised his hand. Enough. The room went quiet. He turned back to Victor. Do you love your wife? Victor opened his mouth, then closed it. Mercy watched his face closely. I care about her, Victor said finally. Uncle Samuel leaned forward. That is not what I asked. Victor did not answer. Silence stretched. Then Uncle Samuel said, Mercy is not just your wife. She is carrying your child. And yet you choose another woman openly. Victor's jaw tightened. I am a man, he said. I have needs. Mrs. Adekunle nodded quickly. Exactly. Mercy felt something snap inside her, but she still did not speak. Uncle Samuel straightened. Victor, he said, do you remember the land in Ibadan? Victor froze. What land? Mrs. Adekunle asked sharply. Uncle Samuel ignored her. The land your father left. Victor swallowed. That land, Uncle Samuel continued, is not fully yours. Mercy turned to look at Victor. Victor's eyes darted. Uncle, what are you saying? I am saying, Uncle Samuel replied, that some things in your life stand on Mercy's name. Mrs. Adekunle stood up suddenly. What nonsense is this? Victor looked at Mercy now. His face had changed. What is he talking about? He asked her. Mercy's voice was calm when she finally spoke. I don't know, she said truthfully. Uncle Samuel took out a brown envelope from his bag and placed it on the table. Victor stared at it. I warned you once, Uncle Samuel said quietly. You did not listen. Victor's hands trembled as he reached for the envelope. Inside were papers. His breathing grew uneven as he flipped through them. Mrs. Adekunle leaned over his shoulder. Victor. Victor looked up at Mercy slowly. For the first time since the roadside incident, fear filled his eyes. And then he whispered, loud enough for everyone to hear. Mercy. Why is your name here? The cafe felt too small, too quiet. And Mercy realized that the story she thought she was living was only just beginning. Mercy looked at the papers on the table like they belonged to someone else. Her name. Written clearly. Not once. Not twice. But again and again. Victor's fingers shook as he turned each page. His mouth opened slightly, but no words came out. Mrs. Adekunle leaned closer, her eyes moving fast across the lines. What is this? She asked sharply. Why is her name here? Uncle Samuel did not raise his voice. He did not smile. Sit down, he said. Mrs. Adekunle hesitated, then slowly sat. Victor finally found his voice. Uncle, explain, he said. Now. Uncle Samuel folded his hands. When your father was sick, he began, he knew his time was short. He also knew his son. Victor stiffened. Your father feared that you would forget where you came from, Uncle Samuel continued. He feared pride. He feared cruelty. That is not true, Victor snapped. Uncle Samuel raised an eyebrow. Is it? Silence. Your father owned properties, Uncle Samuel said. Land. Shares. Investments. He told me clearly that he did not want everything to sit under one name. Mrs. Adekunle shifted in her seat. Why did he not tell me? Uncle Samuel looked at her. Because he did not trust you with that decision. Her mouth dropped open. He said, Uncle Samuel went on, find a woman who brings peace into my son's life. A woman who is patient. If my son marries her, place some things in her name. That way, he will always remember respect. Mercy's head spun. Victor stared at her like he was seeing her for the first time. You mean, Victor said slowly, some of what I have is tied to Mercy, Uncle Samuel finished. Yes. Mrs. Adekunle slapped the table. This is a lie. It is not, Uncle Samuel said. And the papers prove it. Mercy finally spoke. Uncle, she said, her voice quiet, I didn't know any of this. I know, he replied gently. Victor stood up. So all this time, he said, pointing at Mercy, you were watching me? Mercy looked up at him. Watching you do what? His voice rose. Enjoy my money? My life. Mercy shook her head slowly. Victor, I married you because I loved you. I cooked. I waited. I stayed quiet. I endured. Mrs. Adekunle cut in. And now you want to take what belongs to my son? Mercy turned to her calmly. I have never taken anything. Uncle Samuel nodded. Mercy never asked for this. It was your husband who asked me to prepare the documents years ago. Victor's face turned pale. You mean, I signed this? Yes, Uncle Samuel said. You trusted me then. Victor dropped back into his chair. Memories rushed in. The hospital room. His father's weak voice. The pen in his hand. The promise he barely listened to. Mercy watched him quietly. Why didn't you tell me? Victor asked her. Mercy answered honestly. Because I didn't know. The cafe door opened and closed. A few people glanced at the table, sensing tension, then looked away. Victor rubbed his face. So what now? He asked Uncle Samuel. Are you here to take everything from me? No, Uncle Samuel replied. I am here to stop you from destroying your own home. Mrs. Adekunle laughed bitterly. This woman has turned you against us. Mercy stood up slowly. She felt tall. She felt steady. No, Mercy said. You turned yourselves against me. Victor looked up at her. Mercy, sit down. Let's talk like adults. She shook her head. I have been an adult alone for a long time. Her words landed quietly, but they hurt. Uncle Samuel stood too. Victor, he said, you have a choice. Victor swallowed. What choice? You can continue this path, Uncle Samuel said. Or you can remember that you have a wife carrying your child. Mrs. Adekunle hissed. Do not threaten my son. Uncle Samuel met her eyes. I am not threatening anyone. I am warning. Mercy picked up her bag. Victor's eyes followed her. Where are you going? Mercy paused. She placed one hand on her stomach. I am going somewhere safe, she said. To think. Victor stood quickly. You cannot just leave. She looked at him. You left me already. On the road. That sentence silenced everyone. Mercy turned toward the door. But before she could take another step, Uncle Samuel spoke again. Mercy, he said, there is one more thing Victor does not know. Mercy stopped. Victor's heart jumped. What now? Uncle Samuel reached into his bag again. And as he brought out a second envelope, thicker than the first, Victor felt his control slipping completely. Because whatever was inside that envelope looked powerful enough to change everything. The second envelope felt heavy in Uncle Samuel's hand. He did not rush to open it. That made the fear worse. Victor stared at it like it could bite. Mrs. Adekunle leaned forward again, her confidence now cracked. Mercy stood by the door, her bag on her shoulder, her body still, her face calm. Open it, Victor said. His voice sounded smaller than before. Uncle Samuel looked at him for a long moment. You are sure? Victor nodded. Yes. Uncle Samuel placed the envelope on the table and slid it toward Victor, then read. Victor pulled out the papers. His eyes moved quickly at first, then slowly, then they stopped. He swallowed. What is this? He asked. Uncle Samuel answered softly. A trust. Mrs. Adekunle frowned. A trust for what? For the child, Uncle Samuel said. For Mercy's child. Mercy turned around sharply. My child. Uncle Samuel nodded. Your father set it up before he died. He made sure that whatever happens between you and Victor, your child would be protected. Victor's hands shook. Protected how? The trust controls part of the income from the properties, Uncle Samuel said. It cannot be touched by anger. It cannot be moved by pride. It is fixed. Mrs. Adekunle stood up suddenly. This is wickedness, she shouted. Why would a man do this to his own son? Uncle Samuel's voice stayed calm. Because he knew his son. That sentence cut deep. Victor pushed the papers away. So what are you saying? He asked. That I have no power? Uncle Samuel shook his head. You have power. You always did. You just chose to use it wrongly. Silence fell. Mercy walked back to the table. She did not sit. She looked at Victor. I didn't plan any of this, she said. I didn't ask for papers. I didn't ask for protection. Victor looked up at her. His eyes were tired now. Then what do you want? He asked. Mercy thought for a moment. I want dignity, she said. I want respect. I want peace. Mrs. Adekunle laughed bitterly. Peace, she said. After humiliating my son? Mercy turned to her slowly. You watched him throw me out of a car, she said. You smiled. Mrs. Adekunle opened her mouth, then closed it. Uncle Samuel stepped forward. This meeting ends now, he said. Mercy will not be shouted at again. Victor stood up. Mercy, he said quickly, we can fix this. Come home. We will talk. Mercy shook her head. Talking did not stop you before. She looked at Lorna's name in her mind. The road. The door. The smile on his mother's face. No, she said. Not today. Victor's voice rose. So you will just leave? Mercy met his eyes. I am choosing myself. That was the moment Victor understood. Not the papers. Not the trust. Not the envelope. Her choice. Uncle Samuel picked up the envelopes and placed them back in his bag. Mercy will stay with my sister for now, he said. She will rest. She will be safe. Mrs. Adekunle scoffed. You think this is over? Mercy turned to her one last time. I think it has just begun, she said. She walked out. Outside, the sun was bright. The street was busy. Life was moving. Uncle Samuel walked beside her to the car. Are you afraid? He asked. Mercy shook her head. No. She paused, then added, I feel awake. He opened the door for her. Good, he said. Stay that way. Across town, Victor sat alone in the cafe. His mother paced. Lorna called his phone again and again. He did not answer. For the first time, the silence he once gave Mercy came back to sit with him. And it was loud. Very loud. As the car drove Mercy away, she placed both hands on her stomach and whispered, We will be fine. But far behind her, a man who thought he had everything was just beginning to realize what he had truly lost. And the next time their paths crossed, nothing would ever be the same again. Thank you for listening. What is your view about this story? Let us know in the comment section. Kindly like, comment, and subscribe to our channel.